Coming up on Grady Newsource, a UJ student's family opens their home to refugees from the war in Ukraine. With rising gas prices, we look at other forms of transportation to avoid using gas. Finally, in light of National Pride.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Osmarin, and this is Grady Newsource at 5. Last night, a UJ student spoke with her Ukrainian family members for the first time since they fled their war in their country. Grady Newsource reporter Ansley Edwards spoke with Olivia Shapiro about her family's harrowing journey from Ukraine to America.
Привет. Как дела?
Ничего.
I'm Olivia Shapiro. I was born here in the US, but my parents are from Russia and Ukraine. My mom's from Ukraine and my dad is from Russia. And I go to UGA and I am a junior. They might be sleeping. Our family in Russia is doing fine, and our family from Ukraine is my mom's cousin, and his wife and 2 kids actually left to Poland and then ended up driving to Italy and flew out of Italy and arrived here in the US last night, and they're staying with us. My mom's cousin himself, he wasn't able to leave because if you're between the ages of 18 and 65, they don't let you leave because if you need to fight in the war, then they will draft you. You kind of read about it in textbooks, but you don't really think that you're ever going to live through it.
Кто, кого вывозят сейчас, они с большими проблемами,
It turns red when it's ready.
дети тоже счастливы.
We spoke to your family on the phone. Can you kind of describe what you guys were talking about?
We were talking about how it's really nice to come home and actually hug somebody. They're grateful for being able to stay with us, and it looks like they're going to be staying with us for the foreseeable future. The news that you see is pretty accurate. There are literally missiles and bombs being dropped in just civilian areas. And a lot of our family friends have kids, and they're kind of ranging from ages like 2 years old to 12 years old. Their school's halted, they're not going to school, they're hiding in bomb shelters. And I don't know, I feel that as a child, that's something horrible to go through. They're scared. So now that they're here, they're happy to be here. They're actually at home playing on a playground right now, which is something that wouldn't be happening if they were still over there. So that's why it's pretty scary. And it's they're fearing for their lives.
Rising gas prices are affecting delivery drivers. Grady Newsource reporter Brianna Smith explains why consumers may see an extra charge on their bill.
Some food delivery services are adding gas fees to help drivers offset rising gas prices. Drivers now pay $4.29 for a gallon compared to $3.92 last week, which is the highest since 2008. The owner of Cosmic Delivery, Trent Walls, says that he made the decision after he saw prices rise dramatically over a week.
It was a pretty big sticker shock to them. And when I started seeing it going up that much, I was like, ooh, yeah, the drivers are really going to notice this being an issue for them. So
the delivery service charges customers or businesses 6 to 50 cents on orders. This fee is based on the distance drivers must travel. Drivers like Lisa O'Callahan say that although it's not a huge amount, it still helps her out.
When you're working this way, you're dependent on the gas prices.
She usually fills her tank almost every day. 31, she paid about $70 the last time she got gas.
This is really tough, and this is where you have to weigh in, is it worth it right now to even drive?
Some motorists in Athens have the option to not drive, but O'Callahan depends on income from deliveries. She recently moved to Athens from Tennessee, and her husband is stationed in Colorado.
And that's something that each individual delivery driver has to decide for themselves. But for me, no, it's not an option. I need, even though it may be a tad bit less, I need that income.
Brianna Smith, Grady Newsource.
Gas prices have reached record highs.
With gas prices reaching record highs, people might be trying to find alternative ways to get around. Reporter Matthew Davis has more on how you can get around without stopping at the pump.
Over the past couple weeks. Luckily, in our Athens area, there are plenty of other ways to get around campus or even around town without having to get in your car to drive to where you're going.
There are a few different ways to get around, with the most prominent being the bus system.
Many people in the community rely on these buses to get to classes or work. As Stephen Thompson, a bus driver for 3 years, believes that these buses are a viable option for anyone trying to commute in the Athens area.
If you can get to campus on a Athens city bus and then ride one of the UGA transit buses from there to class, if that works for you, that's a great way to save money, save gas, and get to campus safely and effectively.
In the Athens area, there are 2 bus systems that run through the city: Athens-Clarke County Transit and UGA Campus Transit. The Athens-Clarke County Transit serves 20 routes throughout the work week and 10 on the weekends. The ACCT also goes throughout the entire county and is free until at least June 30th, 2023. The other transit system here on UGA's campus serves 12 different routes on and closely around the UGA campus to help students, faculty, and visitors. Some students, like Haley Brown, have taken the chance to utilize the bike racks on campus to cut transportation costs and even help the environment a little bit.
I am an environmentalist and an environmental engineering major, so climate change is something that's really close to my heart. And riding my bike is something small that I can do to, prevent burning fuel.
You bus, bike, or walk, you could be saving yourself some money and saving the environment too. Matthew Davis, Grady Newsource.
Governor Brian Kemp says he will work with the state General Assembly on a temporary suspension on state gas tax amid rising gas prices. In Georgia, gas prices have increased over 56% in the last several weeks. As of now, the bill has passed the House of Representatives and is headed to the Senate tomorrow. Once signed, HB 304 will remain in effect until May 31st, 2022. Georgia's legislators have introduced a bill called the Common Humanity in Private Education Act, which would limit discussions of gender identity and sexual orientation in private schools. If passes, it would bar private school classroom discussions in a way deemed inappropriate. It would deem inappropriate for their age and developmental status. LGBTQ activist Karen Harrelson believes education on these topics is beneficial.
I think that there's nothing wrong with expecting our teachers or anyone serving any student of any faith background, any racial background, or any sexual orientation or gender identity a safe space to learn.
Former President Barack Obama tweeted that he tested positive for COVID-19. He is vaccinated and only boosted, and said he is only dealing with a scratchy throat. Former First Lady Michelle Obama tested negative. President Obama used his announcement as an opportunity to remind people to get vaccinated despite the decrease in cases. Coming up after the break, we will learn more about an opportunity for Northeast Georgia residents to get educated on severe weather.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
A person claiming to be a representative of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office has been calling to inform individuals that a warrant has been issued for their arrest because they did not report to jury duty. The scammers are asking for personal information. The Oconee County Clerk of Court's office is advising anyone who received this call not to give out personal information or follow the caller's instructions to send money. Thunderstorms, tornadoes, and hurricanes are examples of severe weather experienced in northeast Georgia. Grady Newsource reporter Madison Cook knows how you can be prepared for the next storm.
This National Weather Service alert can be unsettling and can leave listeners wondering what their plan of action should be during a storm. Barrow County Emergency Services is promoting Skywarn Classes hosted by the National Weather Service in hopes that local residents will be more prepared for the next storm.
They teach some cloud spotting, how the storms move, and how to report it. I think that benefits to getting all that information out there in a timely manner so people can get a jump on the storms.
The classes will be held on March 16th and the 22nd and will be offered virtually.
The presentation is sort of like an overview on the meteorology and just the purpose of having a strong local spotter base or spotter database within the area. So it's sort of like and then we get into more the technical side of severe weather.
To sign up, you can go to the National Weather Service website and select your area to find the Skywarn Spotter Training Schedule. This was Madison Cook, Grady Newsource.
This month is Women's History Month, and UGA is highlighting alumna and media mogul Pat Mitchell. Mitchell, the first female president and CEO of PBS, has served a number of media outlets and as an executive and producer. As the current editorial director of TED Women, she works to share the stories of powerful women, including her own. Mitchell says all of her work is unified by one central theme, empowering other women and sharing their stories. How good could Georgia basketball have been if there wasn't a transfer portal? Grady Newsource reporter Brendan Kerner explains how the Bulldogs fumbled the bag over the off-season.
Georgia basketball finished the 2021-2022 season with its worst record in program history after 7 of the 13 players transferred to other schools. Even though the Bulldogs saw average home game attendance increase by almost 4 times from last season, the extra support only led to 6 total wins. The team's scoring declined by almost 8 points per game, while their defense allowed 78.5 points per contest. This comes after players like Severe Wheeler, Katie Johnson, and Justin Kaiir left for teams that were able to use their talents to make the NCAA tournament. Now, at the University of Kentucky, Wheeler led the Bulldogs in scoring and assists during the 2020-2021 season. His play at the point guard position has earned the Wildcats the 2nd seed in the East region of the bracket. Furthermore, Johnson, who averaged 13.5 points per contest coming off the bench for the Bulldogs, now plays for the 2 seed in the Midwest region, the Auburn Tigers. He played every game for the Tigers and secured more steals a game than when he was with the Bulldogs. Kaiir is a graduate transfer that ended up with the basketball powerhouse, the Arizona Wildcats. The 6'4" shooting guard currently starts for the South region's top-seeded Wildcats after averaging 9.5 points per game in his last year with the Bulldogs. With Tom Crean no longer the head coach in Athens, Georgia hopes staffing changes can bring a renewed energy to the program. Brendan Kerner, Grady Newsource.
Coming up, the weather forecast, mild days but chilly nights, and also you might want to grab a coat before you head out to your St. Patrick's Day activities.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach, for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
And now, the weather.
Good evening. This is your Northeast Georgia weather, and I'm Abby Buston. Diving into today's weather, we have a clear and sunny day with a high of 64 and a low of 42. In fact, this is pretty much the trend over the next 5 days. Mild days, chilly nights. You can see here the high will remain in the low 60s for the first half of the week, then creep up to the 70s later in the week. The nightly lows will hover around 50 degrees. So if you're planning to join the St. Patrick's Day festivities, you might want to bring a jacket. A developing low pressure system will likely cause severe weather starting around Tuesday night and then clearing up around Wednesday evening. So you won't have to worry about bringing an umbrella. A severe weather statement for North and Central Georgia this afternoon, evening, and Tuesday. With a low relative humidity, there is concern if you're preparing a fire in the next couple of days. Due to dry fuels and winds ranging from 5 to 15 miles per hour, the high fire danger is to be expected. So if you're looking to burn outside, use extreme caution and contact your local authorities. This has been your Northeast Georgia weather forecast. For Grady Newsource, I'm Abby Buston.
Coming up in sports, March Madness is here, and University of Georgia men's basketball program is making changes to find success in the next year's season.
Safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other,
On a deeper level. Father.
cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
And now, sports.
I'm Lauren
Lauren Tier with Grady Sports. Today, college basketball programs are preparing for the postseason after the NCAA basketball tournament brackets were announced on Selection Sunday. Georgia men's basketball did not make the cut for the tournament, but the women's basketball team earned a 6th seed and will face either Dayton or DePaul in the first round. If your friends and family are anything like mine, this is the perfect time to show your competitive side and fill out a bracket with your predictions for the tournament. While the odds of a perfect bracket are 1 in 9.2 quintillion, March Madness is full of upsets and surprises, so you might as well try your luck, even if you know nothing about college basketball. Men's collegiate basketball coach Mike White is giving up the chomp and working on his bark as he starts his coaching career in Athens. After 7 years at the University of Florida, the head coach accumulated a record of 142 and 88 and led his team to 4 appearances in the NCAA tournament. White is replacing Coach Tom Crean as UGA's new head coach. After suffering from a losing season with a record of 6-26, former head coach Crean was fired, and the team is now in the hands of a former rival. In a release, White says he believes in the limitless future of Georgia basketball. UGA Athletic Director Josh Brooks expresses his confidence in the new hire by saying that White is the coach that can build Georgia basketball to a consistent winner on the collegiate basketball landscape. Just 5 weeks after announcing his retirement, Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady announced last night that he is returning for the 23rd season in Tampa. On social media, Brady said that he has unfinished business on the football field. The 7-time Super Bowl winner will play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this upcoming season. The Major League Baseball lockout has finally come to an end this past week as the league and the MLB Players Association reached what is called a collective bargaining agreement. Opening day is set for April 7th, and the reigning world champions, the Braves, will play their first series against the Cincinnati Reds at home in Atlanta. Just hours ago, it was announced that first baseman from the Oakland Athletics, Matt Olson, was traded to the Atlanta Braves. It is predicted that Freddie Freeman will be playing for another team this season. Lauren Tier, Grady Newsource.
Coming up, National Pie Day is calling for the increase in local pie sales and learn more about potential St. Patrick's Day activities.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school.
Jessica has been through a lot in her life from early childhood.
My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She came in looking to complete her diploma. She had a family she had to take care of. Anytime she needed help, we provided her help. She realized that we were here for her.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
My graduation, it was something I will never forget. I couldn't explain the emotion I was feeling because people like you and me sometimes may have doubts in ourselves, but I feel that everything's possible.
Jessica's future is brighter than ever.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason. Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please. I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Are you still hunting for St. Patrick's Day plans this Thursday? There's a variety of options here in Athens. Sauce House is hosting an all-day long family-friendly event with Irish step dance performances by Athens Dance Academy and bagpipe performances. Southern Brewing Company will be having an art car show followed by an outdoor celebration that features Irish dance and live music. For those looking to get outside for St. Patty's Day, there will be a therapeutic recreation activity at Rock Springs Park Thursday morning, exploring Ireland's history through crafts, activities, food tastings, and leprechaun hunt. These are just a few of many options available to celebrate the lucky day. Today is 3/14, which means it is National Pie Day. Grady Newsource reporter Cole Aycock gives us a look into how National Pie Day has affected a local bakery amid national supply chain shortages.
National Pie Day calls for never-ending numerals and delicious pies. For local Athens business Kiki's Bake Shop, there has been an upswing in pie sales early on National Pie Day.
About almost 50 pies before 9 o'clock today. So that was pretty good, and now we're trying to catch up.
Kirsten Bradford founded Kiki's Bake Shop in 2014. But owning a business comes with many challenges for Bradford, the latest being the national supply chain shortage.
I mean, I have to be really crafty and go back to shopping very much like a mom on a budget. I go certain places for butter, I go certain places for fruit.
Supply chain disruptions have been a reoccurring theme ever since the pandemic hit the United States in 2020. It has made consumer products more expensive and it is taking longer for products to come in. Despite the difficulties, Kiki's Bake Shop is able to have one of their best-selling days of pies, fittingly on National Pie Day.
But, I really wasn't sure if it'd be a big pie sale day because not everybody knows about Pie Day unless it's marketing it, and I didn't really market it.
While National Pie Day pays homage to the ever-famous repeating decimal 3.14, it is still a great day to go out, support local Athens business, and get yourself a pie. Cole Aycock, Grady Newsource. Pie!
Happy National Pie Day! I'm Miles Marin from Grady Newsource. Thank you for watching and have a great night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers, he connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
And I would love to hear from you guys as well. So it seems like we're on the air. All right. Us, our intrepid anchor, is joining us as well. Harper, how about you start off? Tell us, how did things go in the control room?
I thought today was pretty okay. Not the best show, but pretty okay. The first little bit of the show, we had a little bit of difficulty with an autoplay feature just because we were using like a different session than we normally use. But we got it fixed, so then things were a little bit more smooth for the rest of the duration of the show. Other than that, everything was pretty good. Like y'all's audio levels were consistent. There was nothing funky about any of your packages. Y'all got everything in on time. You're very timely about getting rundowns created, so we were able to have a rundown meeting on time. So it wasn't a very stressful day, which was really, really good. So yeah, that's all I really have.
All right, Harper. And a reminder that we have a guest, Kendall Tremer, who's the managing, I don't know exactly what her title is, but she manages the digital content of CNN on the weekends, and she's a UGA alum. Will be joining us and doing a live critique on Wednesday, and for you guys also to know, live critique, she will not come here. She will be doing it. She will stream the show at home and then join us on Zoom and talk about, give you different feedback from what I do. She'll be taking notes. And so just wanted to give you a heads up that you will have a guest.
Yep. Just one more thing I thought about. It wasn't too much of an issue, but when you guys send in VOSOTs, we would prefer that you send in a VO file separate from the SOT file, because the anchors don't always align with the timing that you've provided them for the VO and when the SOT starts playing. So what would end up happening would be like the anchor still reading the VO script while your soundbite starts rolling. Or we have to like find some way to like slow them down. You know what I'm saying? It's easier for us to be able to manipulate when we start your soundbite than just hoping and praying that, the timing of the show is going to work out, which oftentimes it is very fluid throughout.
Yeah,
the
and I might
broadcast.
have confused people because I told them, I didn't mean to tell them to edit the soundbite to the video, to the visual element, but maybe that's the way it came across, because I told them to edit their visuals, like if they had a graphic and B-roll, put it all on, edit it together, because it's easier for you guys to just take one VO and not have to take different pieces. But the soundbite is always separate, so I'm sorry if I miscommunicated.
Yeah, no, it's just technically it's just easier for us to roll them separately.
So soundbite is
So
is separate,
export them
and
together,
VO
but
is separate.
as separately. Yeah, and that's all.
So guys, do you have any questions on that? Okay, and then with you remind me with the formatting of the VOs and the VO SOTs, I found that in most of the scripts that you guys wrote today, and I corrected it. So you would start the script with anchor on camera, and then under anchor on camera, you would have a different command, VO. So if I hadn't corrected that, Sailor would have been wondering, what is going on? So should I take the anchor on camera right off the top for the first sentence, or should I take the video? It's like two confusing commands. So when you write a VO SOT or a VO, it starts with anchor on camera, which tells Sailor to take the anchor on camera for the first sentence. And then put the next command, VO, which tells the technical director to take the VO as soon as you want your B-roll to start. Does that make sense, guys? So I went and even one lead had anchor on camera and VO, two commands, and then the script and then we have the lead. So ask me if you have questions. That makes sense. So I just wanted to clear these things up because formatting is really important. Any questions, guys? Does that make sense to you? All right. So, and it's just like imagine that these commands are actually you telling Sailor or whoever is the technical director what they need to take on live air, what they need to show on live air. Is it the anchor? Do they play a soundbite? Do they need to take VO? So that's, if you imagine it that way, I think it'll be more logical for you to format things because it's really important. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, and I made a little note to let you guys know. And another thing I worked with a few of you today was don't bury the lead. And I want you to remember this because a lot of you have been writing great essays and compositions to get into this school. This is what you're good at, and you're bright and smart, and I'm so lucky to have you. But here in this class, we're writing broadcast. And so we need to start with the news. And so with a lot of you, you had the news, but it was buried. That's what I mean by don't bury the lead. It came like in your second sentence or third sentence. So it should be the thing you start with, what's happening today, what's new, and then you put the context and the background and explain what led to whatever is the news today. So just wanted to reiterate that again. It's really important when you're writing news, whether it's for broadcast or for social media, always start with the news. I know, Abby, I'm very boring. I can see you yawning even though you have a mask on. I'm just kidding. And we're so happy. Congratulations again. Possibly our viewers would want to know that Abby Buston got engaged, and she still did a great weather segment interacting with some wonderful graphics. Same for Lauren. You guys really had, I could tell you were having fun, you were enjoying it, you were pointing, interacting, your writing showed, that you were really into what you were doing. So both of you did a great job, and we're very happy for Abby today. So yeah, had we known, we would have brought a pie or something, not to pie you. But that is just wonderful, and we're very, very, very happy for you. Guys, we are, right? I am speaking for everyone. Yes, I'm just joking. It makes me happy, good news like this. Okay, so those were the little things that I still, yeah, I have a few things that I might add after I watch the show, but these were my main points today. So the formatting, one command per sentence, not two commands, and don't bury the lead. And also, with some of you, I also worked on some more conversational style of writing. That is also what we're working on. And a lot of packages fell through. It was kind of challenging for Amro. Thank you for stepping in, news gatherers, to write a few extra and find a few extra pieces, because he was really struggling and for content. And we made it right on time, but had something else fallen through besides Hallie's package, we would have been in trouble, because we just didn't have enough. That's why I explained to you, Amro, that's what I meant. There's always, not always, but there will be something that falls through. So that's why your show needs to be a little bit longer, so that when emergencies like that happen, you have some extra content to play with. And having said that, I will hand it over to you, Amro. Share with us how this day was for you, your first time producing. Seems like he likes producing, because he was asking me, can I do it again? So I told him if one of you wants to switch with him, wants to do something else, is important to you more than producing, although again, producing is a really valuable skill to have, and to have something to show, because people, as I told you, they don't care much about your grades, they care about what you can do for them. And so if you can show what you've done and talk about it, you wrote why you decided to lead with this particular story, what were the challenges you overcame, the experience you have, that will really be helpful. But I'm so happy when people discover producing. As I told you, I discovered it later on in my life. And I just find it fascinating, very creative, but I also love writing, and I love a lot of things about our job. Anyway, enough from me. Let's hear from Amro.
Yes, I had a pretty good time, honestly. It was pretty stressful in the beginning.
More than just the beginning.
Yeah, it was pretty stressful throughout the entire day.
Yeah.
But everybody came through at the end. I want to shout out Ansley, because your story was pretty hard and did a really quick turn on it. It was really good. For the most part, everybody did a really good job today, and everybody pitched in. So.
And what did you learn? What made you like producing?
Oh, I had control. I like control. Yeah.
You were the boss.
Yeah, so I liked having a say in what goes on air and what doesn't go on air.
Yeah, and you had a challenge of having people pitch the same kind of story on a very, on a day and in a situation we talked about Ukraine and the suffering of people, and yet we had 2 or even 3 stories on gas prices. And so I'm glad that Delaney, you were the one who, you suggested that, right, that we talk to a Ukrainian family and bring the human aspect and then talk about the pain at the pump, which is also very important to us. But we needed to start with something more substantial as the world, as we talked. You know, the world stands on the brink of, I hope not, a new Cold War, an expanding conflict that I was telling Amro, was sharing with Amro how people in Europe, the authorities are looking at updating bomb shelters just in case. And I was talking to my family, you know, and they were saying that even in Bulgaria, they're looking at, you know, because the bomb shelters are from World War II, and nobody ever thought that we would need them again, but here we are again. We said never again after World War I, there was World War II, so hopefully there will be some way out of this, but it's a very serious story. And so we had to have that addition. And I was wondering, Ansley, I think, Amr, you told me that you were going to get some pictures, and you told me, weren't there any pictures that you, for the inter... But you said she did give you some pictures? Okay. Yeah, because that would have been very moving. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm glad that we were able to bring that side of the story. Was really important. Again, just reminding you, better preparation, guys, with your sourcing, with getting your ducks in order, because it just, you know, it doesn't work. Sometimes you get lucky, but doing a package with 2 sources takes much more legwork and preparation. So try to get back on, you know, your pre-spring break role that you were you were on. So that's what I would suggest. And I want to hear now from Melissa and Adrian. They were our digital producers.
It was I liked digital producing. It was pretty easy today with the Pi Day content. We got a good video from Cole and Brendan. And then with making Twitter and Facebook and all the different types of posts, it's really fun to see how different you have to make each one.
Yeah, the caption.
Yeah, the captions have to be completely different.
Yeah, they have to be relevant to the kind of audience you're looking at.
Yeah, and Adrian was really good at that. Like he came up with them really well. He was, yeah, good.
And that's a great skill to have, because when I get calls from news directors, they're really impressed that my students can produce, they can both broadcast and digital, they have some experience in that. So all these things are really valuable when I talk to news directors, when they call me to ask me about specific students.
Yeah, and everyone was really great about sending things in whenever we asked for it, so thank you for that.
Yeah, so take notes when you do each role, so that, you know, so you can prepare better for interviews and with specific examples of the things you've done. I'm always thinking about you. getting a good job. So, yeah, Adrian, what would you like to add?
It's kind of along the same lines. I just thought it was really neat, and I think it's really neat that we do a good job of keeping the content, like having a good variety of content in like our stories.
Yes.
And I think that makes the digital producing easier, I guess, because we know, like for example, today we had Pi Day, but then we also had the seriousness of the gas prices with Brianna's story, but then we also had like the informative of Hallie's Athens Beer Trail. So I think, and like I said, I think we've done a lot. We've done it pretty well every show, but I think keeping that going, where we have like a good variety of content and the types of stories that we produce.
Yeah, it's a great point you're making, because today we did not have quite a variety of stories, and we had to, and that's the producer's job is also to keep track at 8 o'clock when you see the pitch sheet, or you keep following your pitch sheet, and when you see Brianna doing the gas prices, it's in there. I think you were the first one. I saw that, as far as I remember. Then if you see that somebody else has pitched the same story, you ask them to sort of pivot and work on plan B, and try to create some variety in your show and not overdo one specific story, unless you want to do team coverage, unless it's like a hurricane and destruction and you need to piece out the story, send a reporter to do the destruction, send a reporter to talk about the weather. Is it going to continue to be severe weather, for example? Different aspects of the story. So it depends on what kind of story it is. But with the gas prices, we had very interesting stories. But was that a story that we should have so many different aspects, or could it have been pieced out in 2 days, right? So that we have more variety in terms, not just in terms of content, but also in terms of formats, so that we don't just have lead package. So all that is a great point, and I do encourage you, when somebody has already pitched a story similar to yours, try to pivot to another one, unless you have something really extraordinary, and then you just want to ask, for example, I'm making this up, Brianna, you know what, I just got this amazing interview with this person on gas prices. He's a real newsmaker, and it's so hard to get an interview. Do you mind if you hold your story for the next week or something? And then we can work with Brianna, even if she doesn't, I'm making this up, of course, even if her B plan doesn't have 2 sources, that would not affect your grade, because you have been working on your B story, and this just happens. We're doing this just because we have compelling content, newsworthy, which has to run this day. And so that's how we do things. That's how you produce a good show, where you really prioritize the best of the best. Oz, can we, if you're finished, Adrian, Oz, do you want to say something? How was anchoring for you? It's your first time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does this work? Okay. I'm being completely honest. I loved it. I want to do it again. I thought it was so fun. I mean, in the beginning, I felt like in the beginning I had more of a serious tone, because most of the stories were hard news. But towards the end of the show, you could tell my tone got lighter. But overall, I really liked it. I mean, I had some stumbles here and there, but it was my first time, so it was gonna happen. But overall, I really liked it. My heart's still with producing, but I like anchoring as well.
Yeah, the thing I would suggest for you is we need to keep working on varying the tone, the expression. Initially, you read everything in the same way, and then you kind of let go by the end. I was watching you. And especially with the pie story, that was good. You reacted, you were prepared, and you kind of showed a little emotion. You could have been more playful with the last one, a little bit more of a smile. But I saw you trying by the end of the show, and of course it's your first time. It's really scary. So, but you read things smoothly. I could tell that you practiced your stuff, you knew what you were talking about. Just that's something that I have a little ambition for you to keep urging you to use the pitch of the voice for a lighter, and then for a more serious story. The speed, you could vary, like if something is really light and it's like the pie, you get a pie in the face. It's today, you can speed up. And then when you're talking about Ukraine and a family opening their doors to their loved ones, and try to get in emotionally, allow yourself for such stories not to cry on air, but to kind of get just get into it a little bit more, into the human aspect of it. I don't know how to explain it, but if you watch TV and watch, I know you guys don't watch TV, but watch videos and watch how people present things, the people that you like to watch, and I wouldn't say copy them, but see how they do things, and you will learn a lot. Because presentation is hard to describe and to tell you. I can instruct you what the different tools you can use, but unless you sort of try to connect them to how people are actually doing this in real life, it's hard for you to relate to what I'm saying. So maybe that I would suggest. I've learned a lot from other people. I still had my own style and my own voice. That's really important, to have your own voice and style. But I watched people that I respected to see how they connected. They were genuine. That's what I like about, and I think the people who are the best presenters are the ones who are most genuine and know their stuff, they're credible, and they're really, you can tell they're really enjoying, they're spirited, or they are really serious about things because they do understand how serious that story is, without overdoing it. I had one of my former bosses at CNN would say, because I sometimes, she would tell me, you really empathize a lot with people, and I appreciate that, but try to sort of be to be both passionate and dispassionate, and so she wanted me to be a little less passionate, a little more dispassionate, but not lose the passion. So I was overdoing it because I admit I really sympathize, with people, and I had to be a little more distanced, so that I would sound objective, but yet emotional. It's hard to. I was like, what does she mean by passionate and dispassionate at the same time? But I sort of watched myself, which I don't like to do, and I saw what she meant, that at certain points I was a little too emotional about things, and so I worked on that. Everybody works on something. I used my hands too much, so I had to work on that without being stiff and still remaining genuine. Being genuine and well-informed and enjoying this connection with the viewer can't steer you wrong. That's what I would suggest. I would love, in our remaining moments, I would love to hear from you guys. Yeah, Cole, can you guys give Cole?
So yeah, I just have two quick shout outs. First off, shout out to Amro for giving me the Pi Day idea at 10:30 this morning. I really had no idea what I was going to do. I was lost because my original idea fell through. So shout out to him, and also shout out to Brendan. He did a lot more today than just get pied in the face.
he really, yeah, he's a news gatherer, and he did a mini package, and he got pied in the face.
Yeah, that too, but also he really helped me, like, with my package and finding the certain angle that I wanted to go after, and just kind of helped me develop it in that way.
I love teamwork.
So yeah, and that thing about teamwork, we've been developing it a lot this semester, and I think if we just continue to do that, then this semester will finish off as smooth as possible. So keep that up.
Thank you, Cole. And I just thought that was some of your best work. We should, although it was just one source, but you pulled it off.
Yeah, it's
and
on me.
I thought your visual storytelling is getting much better. And I was watching to see your B-roll. There were close-ups. We could see how they were making the pies. You had the rule of thirds with your soundbite. Your interview was well formatted. So I'm really happy to see that that growth in you, and I noticed it, and I really love the teamwork. And so, Brendan, do you have to do laundry again because of the pie? Yeah. And again, I wanted to ask you guys one stand-up per package, unless there's a outstanding reason you want to demonstrate something, or there's something really compelling in the background that belongs in your package, and you've got to do it twice in 2 different places. I would agree, but try to be more creative with your B-roll. That's what I would suggest. Nicole, thank you. I'm really happy to see your growth, really. And yeah, so anybody else wants to share something from today? Yeah, we had some really strong packages. I took some notes here. I think Brianna's package was very strong, and Maddie's package, I like the way she started her piece with the alert sounding. That was a very creative way to start that piece, and nice framing and at the you saw the fire engine. That's kind of an interesting shot. So nice demo. I like the way you demonstrated the website of how you can sign up. So there were a lot of nice dynamic shots, also lots of close-ups, Brianna, and yours as well, close-ups, dynamic shots, movement. I love the fact that you went on a ride-along. There was so much variety with the delivery lady. You were there in her car. That was so interesting to me. You were in the car, then you had her separately. You had interviewed her outside. She was speaking to you. So that is a very interesting, visually very interesting way to do things. Both you and Maddie showed us some interesting visual ways. Wanted just one thing. Elle, thank you so much for stepping in for the future. When you have 3 different things, make 3 different graphics. There was too much going on in that graphic. So what I would have suggested is for each of the 3 venues, 1 graphic with some kind of visual. That would have worked. Just for future reference, less is more when it comes to graphics. Like 3 short bullet points are more than enough. People just cannot figure out, they're listening to what the anchor is reading, and they're trying to figure out a complex graphic. And so less is more when it comes to social media and broadcast. And even when you're writing a print article, a digital print article, there's only so much we can comprehend. Keeping it simple, and for each different topic, each different thing, having a separate graphic, that's what I would suggest. But thank you guys, news gatherers, for stepping in and helping us out. So that is all from me. Welcome back from spring break. Wednesday we have the guest critique, and I look forward to Wednesday, and go get some rest.